Hi everyone, this is Kinsey. Y'all, if a game plays like straight toilet bowl from the jump, it's getting thrown in the trash like Jussie Smollett from Empire. Why am I saying this? Easy, because my PS2 Gundam game video hit the algorithm recently, and with that comes people defending encounters in space for some reason, so I'm just gonna say this. If your first level sucks, I'm pretty confident in my decision to stop playing. If someone comes into your house and takes a fat shit on your brand new carpet, does it really matter if they are a good person once you get to know them? They just took a shit on your carpet. But anyway, today we got a game that not only met my expectations in T- immediately, but also competes with New Gundam Breaker as the real New Gundam Breaker. And low-key, it ain't even close. See, I ain't clickbait you. You know what else I didn't do? I didn't suggest to you to subscribe to my channel and Patreon, where you can support my dream of being the cutest bitch on the platform and show your love for the content if you have it or are developing one for it. So, I just told you. Please do that. Thank you.
It's my stress, that's for sure.
M.a.s.s builder, my ass builder, m.a.s.s, my anus.
My anus?
I initially wasn't gonna spend money on it, but a cute bitch decided to gift it to me in exchange for them not putting a beard on Loran Sayek's face. Let me make this clear. If you touch one of my favorite boys in fiction, I will find you and I will make it look like an accident. Also, thank you, I appreciate it. Does that affect what I have to say about the game going forward? Absolutely not, and it never will. If you want to gift me your favorite game just to hear me say nice things about it, just know that I always appreciate it, but that's never a guarantee. M.a.s.s builder, which stands for Mechanical Assault Skeleton Suit. No, it doesn't. It really stands for Mobile Ass Suit, stupid, because that's all these are. If I call it a mobile suit, it's not because I made a mistake, it's because I'm correcting one. Am I pissing someone off? Probably. But hey, it is what it is. It isn't a bad thing, don't be insecure. The game starts off with a text screen that explains the premise. We exist in the future and then monsters attacked. They made mobile suits to defend themselves and now we hear no Drake. We walk into a hangar to meet this girl named Reina. She's built like a One Piece character. Now may be a good time to say that none of this is voiced and that may be a problem for you, and it definitely was for me. And I should also say that this is an early access game. Any critiques I levy toward the game could not even exist days, months, or years later, which makes it kinda hard to say much about this one. I don't particularly like critiquing early access games because they pretty much require you to qualify your statements every time you notice that the game farted too loud or some shit. It makes it kind of difficult, but not by much, because these are really small issues. If you like to read, it won't matter, and if you don't, you'll be skipping the dialogue, which they allow you to do, so that's good at least. After Reina is done visual noveling, you get to name your new company whatever you like. I took this opportunity to be 100% serious and name it after my future company name, Baroque Bitches Incorporated, because when you're a Baroque bitch, you don't know where your money went. It went to Vivaldi, because he's a Baroque artist, and broke bitch means you have no money. Did it land? Did it land? After I established my company name, I immediately hopped into the customization options because I swear the first time I played this, I had no idea what I was looking at, so I didn't really bother. This time around, all of that made sense because yes, these options are extremely deep and high-key complicated. There is no doubt that you can get used to the menus, but there is no shot I'm gonna fucking dig any deeper than I need to, because I will fuck this thing up. It won't stop me from looking at creations though. Oh, the subreddit's kinda dead. Damn. The Gaphilians of Gundam creations look good though. Kinda supports my This is Gundam Breaker 4 thing, doesn't it? I'll deal with more of this custom stuff later. The most important part of this game is coming up and I want to see what this team is bringing to the table. Okay, so this game controls not that great on controller. The stick is way too sensitive, and I went to the menus plenty of times to get it to settle the fuck down, this cocaine ass camera. Aside from that, the aiming on controller also leaves a lot to be desired. Over the shoulder aiming is fine, but as soon as you strafe in the other direction, it'll swap to the other shoulder in a pinch, which looks very disorienting. I love twitchy mechanics, but this is more like the mechanic itself is twitching and not me, and I have Parkinson's, I know the difference. As much as I didn't want to, after fiddling with the settings, I eventually gave up and went back to good old keyboard and mouse, or KBNM as I'm gonna call it. And this is the definitive way to play this game. No matter what settings I changed, it just never felt right on controller, and that's not a huge issue, but KBNM just feels so deliberate for this game. The aim twitch is still the same, but it is such an improvement over the controller that I'll let it slide. This is a PC game, I can only get so upset about that. Getting back to the hangar, another character gets introduced and they say words, as I expect characters to do. So I look back at the footage. Kindolia actually got introduced earlier. I just didn't see her. She got introduced before the training mission. I just didn't see her. You don't have to tell me about it. Don't worry. I already know my mistake. If you do tell me about it, I will be rude. Just letting you know. Thank you. Very compelling character design. Very Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V of you. We get introduced to development, which is basically a skill tree, and it's pretty straightforward, and guess what? I like it a lot. So you have 3 types of upgrades that each branch off into different changes for your suit: engine, OS, and architect. As the names imply, they all improve different things about your suit at the same time, and you equip one main I don't really know what to call it, but the equivalent of these are armor pieces in JRPG. So you can equip one main armor piece and then equip the equivalent of accessories on them depending on how many slots the main armor piece gives you. Getting all of them requires materials that drop by the boatload from enemies and credits, which are slightly less common but still not a hassle to get, similar to Gundam Breaker 3. You're gonna be spending your money on plenty of things though, so just watch how much you got and you should be fine. Shortly after that, Default McBackground character tells us about himself, and he is our assistant as we make our Baroque bitch mascot. I don't know why he'd want to be responsible for this shit, but I guess he works to live. He doesn't live to work. I dug straight in. I know I said I wouldn't dig deeper than I needed to, but that was at the beginning of the script. Come on, keep up. Somehow I made my color all white, something pure Aryan race, and I wanted to give myself a pattern to go off of. I say somehow because this color shit is kind of confusing. I thought Kubert core would work just fine, so I went with that. I also decided to name this color scheme a name only I would think to come up with. Navigating this color stuff is kind of difficult at first, but naturally precision is preferred on a KB&M. We're gonna turn up the hot topic because this is the season of angsty cutie patooties, and we're gonna bulk this bad bitch up. Next mission. Now, returning to the camera, this is a bit disorienting sometimes. If you couldn't tell from the footage, it has a sliding feeling to it, where it doesn't really match one-to-one with your movements. I turned off motion blur to try to minimize this upchuck feeling, but it still took a bit of getting used to, which could be fixed later as the game is early access, whatever. The first big boss battle, however, is a whole different thing. In these beat-em-up hack and slash games, I really do stress the importance of having impact, which makes these games satisfying to play, in my opinion. Gundam Breaker 3 probably felt best when it came to this because everything just felt appropriately weak and strong, respectively. Mass Builder kinda gets it right, but you kinda go past things when you hit them, and overall it isn't as polished as it could be, which could be fixed later as the game is early access, whatever. Overall though, the first mission itself wasn't bad in the slightest, and the giant fights are about as good as I think they can be at this point. Can't wait to see more of them. I went back to development to juice up my mobile suit. Okay. I'm gonna call it a m.a.s.s now. The bit is over, don't hate me. As you upgrade your main parts, those are the biggest upgrades that you can invest in, and from what it seems like, you don't necessarily have to dedicate yourself to any particular build if you don't want to, and you can just upgrade everything. Me personally though, I already have it in my head that I want to be a glass cannon because some of these enemies have a fuck ton of health and can put me out of my misery a bit too fast, so I help them speedrun murder percent. The parts you need for these upgrades, like I said before, drop from enemies, but one thing I like about this game is that the parts you need seem to scale with the power level of what mission you're doing. So if you run out of materials and you haven't done your new mission yet, most likely your next mission will have the materials you need in order to progress, which is cute. After this, I got to customizing my weapon, and you can select individual parts of them and color them as you wish, which... this is kinda sick. Gundam Breaker 3 was the same way, and I'm glad that this is well represented in this game as well. Gotta say though, I don't understand these octagons and plates and shit, so I'm just gonna stick to the surface level changes. I named my weapon Pierce the Heavens, and just like that, we're heading to another mission. Standard fare, just hit things until the short-term RAM forgets these ever existed. I didn't say a curse word or anything, but let me know what you think I said in the comments below. Wrong answers only. We fight Latios, Latios, and Latinx. That was incredibly easy. Get more upgrades. Next mission. Girl, what you say? I'm not listening. Going to the Alopecia Desert. We have to disable EMPs and make sure these
disgusting black creatures
can't move forward in their lives without a sword in their coccyx. I was doing the mission the wrong way on purpose. I was testing to see if the AI were about that life, if I were to just ignore them and go for the EMPs, and they were, but only kinda. They walk up to you and then stand still for a minute until they register that I'm a minority. Then they go on the offensive. Needless to say, this tactic didn't work, so I revived and did it my way anyway because I'm bratty and no one or nothing can tell me what the fuck to do. Unless you pay me. then maybe I'll hear you out. Eventually, after a few more upgrades, I gave myself dual wield capability, and now to test it out, I also named my fisty swords Pierce 2 Veils. Really cute, I know. They pretty much feel the same damage-wise, but they do look cooler though. This is one of those games where I can't really feel my skill level increase because it's just kinda whatever. Either an enemy dies as soon as I exist near it, or these fuckers are healthier than a Venus flytrap that just went vegan. We team up with this girl named Neon, and she's pretty cute. We're fighting those enemies from Sonic Unleashed. That's literally my first thought, like I just wrote this down. This is slowly but surely becoming a gender diverse harem, and I have nothing to say other than next mission is in White Acropolis. Gosh, why am I thinking about Sonic so much? I bumped up the difficulty because this game is piss easy, and I'm pretty sure that doing this isn't that big of a change. I kept the difficulty exactly where it was and shut my mouth about it and will not bring up difficulty anymore. Boss fight! What in the yeez mad is this bullshit? I don't know if I wasn't utilizing a gimmick or whatever, but this thing is tanky, which is so weird because I swear the more I got into Gundam Breaker 3, this same kind of thing happened where the enemies were getting healthier, but my attack wasn't necessarily going up, but my moves were getting flashier because I was changing weapons. Now look, when I am faced with situations like this, where I want to blame a game for something, I try to look for alternatives to make my situation better before I go in on whatever problem it is. My conclusion is that this thing lasts way too long, and that is just my truth. It's not particularly hard, but it has a shield and a million health, give or take. So you have to keep knocking that shield down and then eventually the main body down. When the body is knocked down, you can hit weak points, but to be honest, this just isn't enough damage. After a fucking while, I died, and that was multiple minutes of lowering the lifespan of my left click, so I went back to the hangar and tried to be smart about it. I upgraded anything I could upgrade to give me more attack power since I'm glass cannoning this bitch. Made sure all my upgrades were allocated in tuning, and anything I could buy to make my stuff better, I bought. And just like that, I went back to the boss fight. This time I was prepared. I cut through the asshole brigade and met this Lugia looking ass bitch in his territory. And this time around, wow, fuck this thing. Back into it, looking at the timer on this video, I started this fight 21 minutes in roughly, and at the time of me trying to dodge what I could dodge, fight what I could fight, and killing what I could kill, I met my untimely demise. And I do mean untimely because it damn sure wasn't punctual. Why does this have so much health? 27 minutes and 13 seconds in, I died, and I didn't even crack half health. So nice of this game to give me a stopping point because fuck knows when I would have stopped otherwise. I know how I feel about this game at this point. Let's conclude this. Mass Builder is good, period. Like, it just is. The controls are good, and this is clearly for fans of Gundam. Like, it's not even hidden in any way. Whether you like it or not, if you want Gundam Breaker 4, this is probably gonna be it for a long time. Yeah, I bitched a little bit, but it's an early access game, what can you do? If you remember or have played Gundam Breaker 3 recently, you may notice that besides some bells and whistles, these games are pretty similar. I think this game slightly edges Gundam Breaker 3 out when it comes to raw customization options. With the amount of layers and separate parts and shit, you could probably make a dangerous fucking penis. Get this game. It's in early access and every problem I had will probably go away at some point. I'm not very sure, but either way, the core experience is good. Next on my list is Gundam Reborn and Giren's Greed 5. Like I said earlier, I would really appreciate if you like this video to give my Patreon a look. It exists to support the dream of making content, and if you do, you'll get early access to videos and frequent updates. There are updates in other places, but not nearly as frequently as they will be for paying patrons. And while you're looking at my other videos, because I've played every Gundam game released in North America, drink some water and hydrate. Stay safe, and most importantly, stay cute. You lovely ass builders. I had nothing.